signatures to Mindfulness with Marcia. Hey, we certainly did have a big weather change this past week. And if this change of weather had an effect on you and how much you got done, I hope you did not should on yourself. This is exactly how life's journey often plays out at times. And even though I am so glad I was working on these sessions with you about getting things done, because it really helped me not to should on myself too much. Because, yeah, unexpected things happen all the time. And what mindful living allows us to do is to adjust and move through with maybe just a little less stress than might be expected, depending on the experience. And for me, it allowed me not to go to those, well, you should, Marcia, you should, Marcia. For example, in my life, the usual tasks, well, they had to be pushed aside a bit so I could get storm ready at my home. My early morning communications began like really early morning at the house because I was conversing with campus principals about school closing. Well, did that change my morning routine? Absolutely. Did it change the routine for those pets in my house, my fur babies? Absolutely, which changed my routine. And yet, rather than to get stressed out about it, it's like, yep, I need to be present with what it is, acknowledge that there's a change here, and move through. Last week, I introduced 3 of 5 suggestions for getting stuff done and still maintaining a mindful lifestyle. First, we needed to recognize what we must get done, those non-negotiables, both at work and at home. Second, we recognized, well, how much time do we have left? We really looked at the fact that we have some time of the negotiables, the things that we want to do, after we have prioritized those things that we must get done. And thirdly, we had to look at what was the best use of our time. We recognized, and I hope that you were able to really reflect on the fact that time is a limited resource. There's never the word enough. It's not about enough or not enough. It more is about it just is. It's limited, and there isn't anything we can do to increase or decrease that. All we can do is to prioritize within it. So I hope that providing yourself a little longer pause last week, you were able to really study these three things or 3 areas in your life. Because then today, 4 and 5 will be able to implement what you want to do with your time more effectively. Number 4 is what I would call pick and block off. Now that you have your list of priorities of what you want to get done and must get done, you can block off your time. You can get by without doing this step, but I know for me that if I just keep it sort of floating around in my head and I don't actually write it down, well, there's not a way for me to really budget my limited time. You see, it's almost like budgeting your finances. You have a limited amount of money. What are you going to do with it? What bills do you have to pay? What things, whether that's going to Vegas or taking the family to Disney World or buying a new fridge, what things do you believe that you want to use your limited resources for? It's the same thing with time. You need to protect the things that you believe are most important, your priorities. Because, ladies and gentlemen, the time, that's all you get. And you get to use it the best you can. And that's all you can do with that time. So rather than letting it get the best of you, you get the best of it by saying, these are my priorities, and this is how I'm going to use my time. And number 5, now you just act. Get to work on it. But act with appreciation and focus. So what do I mean about appreciation and focus? Well, here's where mindfulness really comes in. Really be there. Really be present with each and every task, because especially those non-negotiables that you have to do, are you going to look at those with an attitude of appreciation or I got to get these done? Makes a big difference how you look at it, ladies and gentlemen. The other thing is, what about those negotiable ones? You've chosen, you've prioritized those in your limited time. So they must be your most important. Do you appreciate them? Do you appreciate the fact that you've cleared space for them? Well, being present and thinking about those things is mindful living. Now, I just have to tell you, all the above will be done imperfectly. That's right. You won't get it perfect, of course. I never have. I'm still trying to fit in too much. But at least I'm finding myself to be more realistic over time as I continue to practice. And as I recognize that I'm trying to cram too much into my time blocks and I pull back. You'll learn that you can get as much done as you can hope for as long as you're being realistic about it. And with practice, here's another thing that I've really learned with practice. You'll be able to accept that enough is enough. And whatever it is that you can fit in, whatever it is, like if life throws you a whammy like weather, or like for me, I've told you, and shared with you, my age has really made a difference of how much I can get done. When I was getting ready for the storm, I stayed up till 2 a.m, my choice, because I was wanting to be able to get my car in the garage, right? I was getting ready for colder weather, but not all the snow. I chose to do that, to take away from sleep in order to get that done. And so rather than what I might have done in the past, I can't believe you're doing this, you should be in bed, blah, 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 tomorrow's going to come early, Instead, I said, Marcia, you're choosing to do this because you would rather lose a couple hours of sleep than to have to, get all the snow off in the morning and the wind and, in the storm. That was my choice. And so the way I looked at it was different. Going out in the backyard with a flashlight, at first I thought, be careful, don't fall down. But it was my choice to do that. And so I did it slowly and carefully. And I took my time to get things out to my shed. Just a really different way of looking at it and recognizing that my physical limitations, I'm not 20 anymore. And it's okay. I need to be present with where I'm at. So this week, try to do all 5 of the suggested steps if you are truly looking to be really serious and deliberate about getting it all done and being mindful. If you didn't get to the top 3 steps because maybe you were busy with getting ready for the winter change. I shouldn't say winter. Let's hope it's not the weather change. Maybe you can get back into it and try all 5. Next week, we'll kind of wrap up. I've got some meditation thoughts I want to share with you about this whole thing about getting it done, because I really do believe this is something that I and we all struggle with, especially in our culture, where getting a lot done is really, really important and is sometimes seen as being more effective and not lazy. There's all these cultural things that fall upon this topic. So until next time, try to be warm, try to be safe, and be well.